And following that breaking news this morning, the FWC is investigating a deadly hit-and-run boat crash involving a Clearwater ferry filled with passengers.
And on your sides, Beth Rousseau live for us this morning with what we know right now about a person being detained by police. Beth.
So the Bel Air boat ramp, that is where we are. That is where investigators say they tracked down the boat that they believe is responsible for this deadly hit and run crash. If we take a look around here, you can see the boat ramp has reopened to boaters. Investigators cleared off overnight. If we get you to some video, what we can also show you is investigators escorting a man in a long sleeve blue shirt off of one of the boats. Now, we did talk to FWC last night, and they have not gone so far as to say that they have named a suspect in this case. However, they do say that they have one person detained in connection to the case. Investigators say the boat that hit the ferry took off immediately afterwards. They haven't specified how many individuals they believe were on board the suspected boat. Moving forward, determining the charges in this case will be based on a number of different factors. The biggest one being that at least one person did die in this crash. Another one being that there were dozens of people on board. It's going to depend on how severe their injuries are and how many of those folks were injured. The other thing is that the driver did leave the scene of the crash allegedly as soon as that ferry was hit. So these are all things that are going to be taken into consideration and be very important aspects of the investigation moving forward. Like I mentioned, back out here, Bel Air boat ramp, that has reopened. Investigators have cleared off the scene. We're told that Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, that's going to be the agency leading up this investigation. We have reached out to them this morning with specific questions about whether or not they've named a suspect, whether it is that person in the video that we have shown you, and how many folks are injured. So those are things that we're going to be getting details on throughout the morning. We're going to bring you any updates here on air and on the WFLA app. We're live in Pinellas County this morning. Beth Russo, 8 on your side.
All right, Beth, thank you. We'll now turn things over to Jenna Bass.
Jenna, what are officials saying about the victims involved in this?
Good morning, guys. So we're actually on the west end of the Clearwater Memorial Causeway. Now, behind me, obviously the scene is clear, but this was the initial area where that heavily damaged Clearwater ferry was pulled out and then taken to the Clearwater Marina. And like we've mentioned, one person has died from this. 6 others have been seriously injured, 2 of which were airlifted as trauma alerts to a nearby hospital. Now, according to the Coast Guard, that Clearwater ferry was full. It had 45 people on board. 6 on board the vessel involved in the hit and run were also treated for their injuries. Now, again, all the people have been accounted for, but many of the victims are split. They've been sent to multiple area hospitals. We're told the scene intense and terrifying last night for families trying to get off that ferry and to safety.
It was quite a chaotic scene when we got here. There were some patients that were being picked up by neighboring boats, Good Samaritans who were trying to help. There were other patients who were walking ashore because it's in the shallow waters here off the bridge, so they were able to, those who could were able to walk ashore and get medical help.
Now, at this point, we still don't have any updated information on how the victims are doing, but they are treating this as a mass casualty incident. And as we've been saying all morning long, the investigation is still ongoing. For now, we're live in Clearwater. Jenna Bass, 8 on your side.